Welcome to Self-Improvement. This is Vivian Tran. Today guest we have Toni Martin. Toni is a psychic, a numerologist, a healer, a teacher and a Reiki master. Toni is here to share with us some information about numerology and Reiki. She's also going to be sharing some tips and tools that she has used in her personal life to help her to achieve a happy life. Toni is a very special person for me. She has been in my life for over 15 years. I've studied my Reiki with Toni.
Thank you, Toni, for the interview today.
You're welcome.
I've known you for many years and I study Reiki from you as well. Before we start, can you talk a little bit about yourself, what you do? And, with Reiki, a lot of people don't know much about it. Do you want to tell people a little bit about it?
So I'm Toni and I have a little business called Angel Teachings. And one of my modalities I'm doing is the Reiki. And I got into the Reiki through my mom. And mum was doing it for many years. And I always thought like, that doesn't work. And one day I decided to look into it and I got attuned and it just went on from there. But Reiki is the universal energy which everybody can tap into once you're attuned, and it will come into your crown chakra and it will flow out your palms or your sole of your feet as well. So whenever you touch someone, or you don't even have to touch, you can heal in the aura. The energy will flow out of your palms into your client's body, and then the body will heal itself. So I'm just a tool. It's not that I come and I heal you. I'm just a tool by transmitting the energy into your body, and then your body can start to heal itself. And the wonderful thing with Reiki is as well, it always goes there where it's needed to balance out the mind, body, and the soul. Works on all levels.
So people can come to you for class, or they can come just for the healing as well?
Absolutely, yes. I do teaching, I do attune people, but I also just, have clients who come for their fortnightly healing. It's like similar to when you put your car into service, you just get the Reiki for your body so you keep your body, mind and soul balanced.
With the COVID right now, do you also do distant healing as well?
I do distant healing and it works just the same. You don't even have to do anything, you can just go about your normal day, or if you choose, you can sit down and relax. We can have a date and a time, or I will just send it to you. And with the distant healing, I always write down notes what comes through, because when you do healing, you get insights as well. So I will then photograph my handwritten notes and send them to you as well.
I know you also do numerology, because I have that done before with you, and
yes.
You also do cards as well, because you've been to a lot of the psychic expo and stuff like that we've done before.
Yeah. I do psychic readings, and I like to incorporate numerology. I'm a numerologist as well, and I really love the numbers. That's a little bit my passion. Well, it is my passion because it just really shows where you are at the moment, what your life path is, and it really shows you your life path from when you're born until you're ready to leave this planet. So it's a really good indication if you're a little bit lost energetically, what you need to do if you're tossing up, looking for a new job or not looking for a new job, things like that. And about yourself as well, you get to know your weaknesses and your strengths. And when you know these, then you can, life is getting easier if you know what you're good at and what you need to improve on.
So with numerology and the card, if people come to you and say, with the numerology, do you take like a few days to do it, whereas the card, they can just book a session?
No, I'll just do it right there and then in front of them. If they do want a chart, I can do a full chart as well. So I will do this at home and then email it out to them. So that might take me a few hours, as you can imagine. But if you come for a reading, we just have a quick look on the energy, what you're in at the moment, which you probably feel already. And, so it's sort of the near past, near futures, which is relevant to the reading or why you come and see me. It always goes hand in hand, it's just like an extra confirmation as well. And the cards then usually just confirm what comes through psychically and through the numbers.
As a psychic, do you feel things or do you hear?
I do. I'm a little bit of a mixed bag. So it just depends on, I suppose, what energy you bring with you. But I would say I feel a lot and I just know. I have a really strong inner knowing. I just know. And I will tell you whatever comes through. Sometimes they give me photographs, little pictures, which I then will describe. It just flows through and I'll just know. So whatever flows through will come out of my mouth because that's your message. That's a message.
So working in your area for quite a long time, there's one question I want to ask. This, you know how sometimes it's your mind talking and then it's also the subconscious mind, or you're just thinking too much, or you're feeling your gut. What are some of the signs that people can look out for if they want to listen to the, they call
intuition?
Yeah.
To listen to your intuition, it's really practice. So, an example is when you have a feeling about something and then you just dismiss it with your head. And then that feeling comes through and you go oh, I knew this. Yeah. So when that happens, then you should start to trust more to your intuition. And some people get a body reaction as well. I think I've said that before, but my nose is my gauge. So often, yes, no, good, bad, it just on for the left, it's all good and yes, and on the right, it's no, you can't go there. And some people get angel bumps, goosebumps, their hair stand up. So you need to get to know your body reaction as well. But that's very individual.
I've come across a lot of teachers and reading and stuff on books. They say that if we do meditations, because when we do meditation, it's quite a wind down. It helps us to be able to tap into that a lot easier because our mind sometimes is always chattering a lot or we're thinking.
Yeah.
Do you find that helps as well when you meditate?
It does. And I think especially maybe at the start, if you want to tap into your intuition more. And I always say it's really good if you can join a meditation group because when you do the meditating in a group environment, it's always amplified. And also some of the meditation groups, they will tap into the intuition as well, and they will have little exercises and practice you can do. Also, I might just add, I'm an admin of a Facebook page group. It's a closed group, so there is many of them on Facebook as well, where you can go and practice, your skills. So there's all the people on there, they want to get more in touch with their intuition and practice. And I don't always get it right because sometimes when you do an exercise and something comes through, for you, it might be a message for you, not so much for the practice. In end effect, there is no right and wrong, but you just need to really trust what you receive. And that's the practice most people need to do, to trust what they receive and not second guess it.
I know, with you, you've been brought up in a family where your mum does Reiki, so this is quite normal for you, but you've come across so many people, you've done so many readings and, you teach a lot of stuff. I find like with meditations, back when I was younger, I don't know much about it. So I think it's something, that the people has to be Buddhism or, like spiritual to be doing it. But now, since, there's a lot of men's doing yoga too and, doing meditations and it helps with the mind, what would you say to someone who's never meditated before and they say something that I can't do it, I've tried, I sit beside from going to a class, which we can't right now because of the the way the world is.
Yeah.
A lot of things are online, but is there
Yeah.
any tools or techniques they can use, like breathing or things that has helped you in the past? Because even though
Yeah.
people need to know that even though we meditate a lot now, but there are days that we can't switch our mind and it just doesn't flow as good. And people think that once you know how to meditate or once you ride a bike, you can ride a bike, but it's not like that. With people need to know the other side.
Yes, no. Um, Stilling the mind can come in many forms, and like you said, breathing is really good. Like if you just sit for a couple of minutes and just breathe in and breathe out, and just really focus on the breath, that's a meditation in itself. Coloring in, if you color in, your mind can wander. Going for a walk. Meditation doesn't mean you need to sit an hour in your room with your legs crossed and do nothing. You can meditate while you do stuff as well. I don't do it anymore, but I used to when I did the ironing. It was like I could go into a meditative state. Sometimes, which is probably very naughty, I just veer off when I drive as well. Yeah, like sometimes you arrive at your destination and you go like, how did I get here? So in a way, you were in a meditative state.
So when you say walking, I know there's groups where they do walking meditations or there's information about it, but to explain it in a simple way for people, when you say walking, people still walk, but their mind is still constantly thinking about work or thinking what they're going to cook for dinner or things like what do they do like when they're walking, in their mind or when they're breathing? How would they have a really peaceful walk beside from going hiking or something where there's nature? If they're just going for a walk, what sort of thing do they, think that they might want to try, while they're walking?
Well, what I was taught was that when you meditate and your brain wanders to what to cook, just acknowledge that thought and allow it to pass. So if you have something, you can get your mind back to meditate, even if it's just with your breath. So that thought was there. That's okay. Thoughts, they come and go. So that's just how it is. So if you can acknowledge it and then just maybe, okay, I'll think about that later. I know I need to cook. I'll think about that later. So I'll just concentrate on my breath. And I find if you think, breathing in, hold, breathing out, then your mind is thinking about the breath and you'll be able to relax more. Even when you go for a walk, it doesn't need to be in nature, even, when you live in the city, but just listen to the sound around you. Just tune into the sound as well, and then you'll be amazed that you hear stuff you've probably never heard before.
Yeah, because I notice like if people have like a fish tank at home, when they stare at the fish tank, that's quite nice because their mind is one off and they're just staring at a fish and see how pretty it's moving. But when people are walking, there's some people just don't understand how they can be in a meditative state when they're walking. Because I can experience it recently. So I know, like, I just look at a flower and I see how beautiful it is. I can notice the branches of the tree, stuff like that. And my mind, I'm not thinking about what's going to happen next and what's past. So it's like you're being in the present, but you're still observing around. You're not just blank. Yeah.
But with all of that, it takes practice as well. And I think we don't need to judge ourselves if our thoughts go to, I have to do the washing and I have to do the cooking, because that will ease. I was one of these people I could not sit still for half an hour because I always had in my head that I needed to do something, that it's wrong to just sit and do nothing. I have to train myself that it's okay. So it's in a way of training yourself and saying it is okay. You can go for a 45-minute walk. That's fine. It's not taking away time from your cooking or ironing or work. Yeah. So it's giving permission. It's giving permission to do that. I think that might be a biggie as well.
I think it happened a lot to people, like especially mums that have young kids, because then you always feel like you need to do this. There's so many. There's a big list for you to do, and then then you don't realize that by taking half an hour out to do something for yourself, when you come back to the task, it doesn't seem as daunting as it is. Like you feel like you're doing the same thing every day. Yeah.
Definitely. And what I say to women who are in that, predicament, I said, make a timetable. Make time, put in an hour or 2 hours a day. It doesn't need to be in one bit, but put it in there and just put me time. And then put it on the fridge so you can see it. So from 1 to 2 o'clock, it's me time. From 6 to 7 o'clock, it's me time. And that gives you permission to do that. Like when you go to school, you have your timetable and you have to do certain things at certain times. So just schedule that in. That sometimes helps as well.
So with your meditations that you've done, when you first started, was it quite hard for you as well? Because a lot of people who haven't done meditation might be listening to this. How did you overcome that?
Sometimes it's still hard. I have days where it's just not happening. And if I have days like that, then I don't force it because there's no point. If you force yourself to, to meditate and it's not happening, then I just let it be, and there'll be another day when it flows again and it's right. So on days like that, I will do just some deep breathing. I will do the whole Ho'oponopono, the I'm sorry, please forgive me, I thank you, I love you. I might repeat that in my head, which is a form of meditation as well.
Yep.
Or if you have an affirmation or a mantra, just repeating that. But most days, I probably don't sit there for 45 minutes and meditate. I do it when I go for a walk or, colouring in, or I play with my cards, or just in different ways. Some people may enjoy cooking, and that can be meditative as well. Cooking, going for a drive, arts and crafts. And, as long as it makes you happy and it's good for your soul, your creative side. So, allow that to kick in.
They talks a lot about vibrations when I was doing the study, that vibrations and energy. So it's how you feel while you're doing the activity. That's why they said if you don't have the energy to run and do a jog or do the stuff that you used to be able to do, then like you said, colouring in, because you're just very gentle, just using your hand or whatever that you feel that you're able to do rather than looking at what you can't do.
Yes, what you should not do is, I think, compare yourself to other people. Everybody is an individual.
Even people compare to other people, or they compare themselves to the old them. Because if say example, if they are not feeling well, they're sick at the moment, then they just keep looking that they can't walk or they can't do things. But instead of that, they can look at what they can do and what they can now that makes them feel better. So same as the Colvicks, where people getting upset they can't do certain things, but then like for me, I find it, because of it, I'm actually got into gardening. If not, I wouldn't got into gardening at all. And because I got into it, I found a hobby that I'm so in love with, which I never could understand before, why people are so in love with gardening. You see a beauty of it, and so it's things in a different view. Because I was listening today and to one of the teacher, and they say that it's hard for the world to go back to as it was before. So people keep saying, I can't wait for it to go back before, but what if it doesn't, So we just need to accept what it is and then make the most of it and enjoy the moment we have, rather than thinking, wanting it to go back to how it is before and then get very frustrated when it doesn't. And then I've seen a lot of people very grumpy and angry around as well.
In a way, sometimes it makes me laugh a little, because before all this COVID, everybody wanted change. Everybody was waiting for the big change. We want change. We want change. Looks like we manifested change. Now change is here. And everybody goes like, no, that's not what we wanted. That's not what we asked for. But maybe we did, because we're connecting more with ourselves. We're connecting more with like-minded people, with our families. And aren't we just blessed that we have the internet and can communicate over the internet?
Yeah.
I mean, sure, I can't come and give you a hug, but I can give you a virtual hug, and I can see you and I can talk to you. And I think in all of this, there is a blessing. There's always a silver lining. And you're quite right. It's what we make out of it.
Yeah, because this happened like 100 years ago with a different flu, but that time there's no internet. So I think that time it's worse in the technology and everything. Whereas now, because before there's people using technology, there's some people using it for a good way, but a lot of it wasn't using for the right way. But because of this happened, people are using it to communicate a lot now. There's a lot of online meditation, there's meeting online, people actually communicating and talking to each other using this instead of just typing, because they have to, they miss each other, they have to use it. And there's if you look at the pro of it, there's a lot of pro rather than the con of it.
Absolutely. Just in my area, I've done a lot of online readings, which don't work just as well, because everything is energy. So it does not matter if you're, in the room with me, or if you're in Canada or England or Switzerland. It does not matter, because it's all energy, and the readings will be still the same. They're not changing, because energy is energy, and what you need to know and what comes through, that what will come through.
For some people, it's more convenient because they don't have to drive out and then drive back. So it might take them, more than an hour, whereas they can just talk to you for an hour and then do whatever they need to do for that day. So it works that easier.
Yeah. And with the comparing as well, I was going to go down the road when you compare yourself to other people. They meditate 10 hours a day. And that's maybe what that's what they want to do, and that's where they're at. But it doesn't mean that you need to do it 10 hours a day. So if you just do 5 minutes or 2 minutes of breathing in and breathing out, and if that's going to make a change for you, that's all you need, because you have to find what works for you.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's what people don't understand. I think there's a certain number of minutes that you have to do. And then I found that when I do long, and I have done quite long and I've done short one, and it's depending on the day and your vibrations and how the energy you feel. Because sometimes my 15 minutes one, I can feel so much more energy afterward and happy than I'm sitting through a 1 hour one. So yeah. But I do know that when I did some of the courses where I was doing a lot in a short time, not like, for a very long time, but in a few weeks or a month, when I was doing a lot a day, it's like retraining my brain to be able to be more present. And then after that, I was able to do, even not closing my eye, I could get into the chakra, and while my eye was open while I was driving. So I thought, this is really weird. I could feel all this. And then I was talking to people who, does the course and stuff, and they experience it too. But if I talk to normal people who've never meditate, they think we're, I don't know, a bit weird. But
they do subconsciously, because I think everybody of us, reach a destination, and everybody went like, I have no recollection on how I got here. Okay. So I think a lot of people do it just subconsciously, but they're just not aware. And it's all about awareness as well. And when you do all that stuff while you do other things, I call it time management. Okay. Yeah. So you're saving yourself time. Like when I send distant healing, because I usually have to drive for an hour or so anyway, so I can send just not when I do it for for payment, but just sending healing to the world or to the people who I have on my healing list. I just send healing while I drive, and then it's all done. Yeah.
So in the first interview I interviewed you were talking about I think it was Dr. Wayne that you were doing meditations, that his stuff. Can you talk a little bit more about that as well?
Yes, that's readily available. I think you might even find it. It's called the I Am Wishful Thinking Meditation of Wayne Dyer, and it's probably on YouTube, or you'll find it. And there is a book who goes with it as well. But the basic is whoever made the music, it's aligned to God, like to the God within us, to the soul within us. And the meditation, it's just, it sounds a little bit maybe like random music because it's really subliminal. And then it's up to you to do the I am, because the I am statement is the most powerful statement you can say. So whatever then you want to put on at the end, I am healthy, I am happy, I am in a relationship, I am finding a new job, like whatever is important for you at the time and you're working through. And it only takes it's 20 minute meditation, but it's like you're doing it. And if you veer off, you start with the I am, and then you fill in the dots. And if you're anything like me, I'll just veer off. I'll just go to a different sphere, so to speak, and then I'll just allow it to flow, and it all works out in the end.
So with that, at the beginning, do you do it for 21 days, or is there a number of days that he recommended that people do?
Well, if you want to do it for 21 days is always a good thing, but because everybody is busy, and like sometimes to do that, if you want to do it those 20 minutes with the music and all, maybe you need a space where you can do it. But you don't even need the music. You can be driving. Everybody drives or goes for a walk, and you can just go like, I am, and fill in the dots. I am, fill in the dots. As an affirmation as well.
I've heard about the mirror self-talk where they say I am healthy or I am smart. From your view, like with the mirror, what does it do? Like, is it because you're seeing yourself while you're talking?
Yeah. I talk to myself in the mirror all the time. If I have a problem, or if I'm angry with someone, or if I'm happy, I talk to myself in the mirror. And what it does is you have to look yourself in the eye. And, so you have to look yourself in the eye, and then you have to be truthful, right? Because you're looking yourself in the eye and you can see it if you don't. It's at the beginning, it probably can be a little bit daunting and weird because, we don't do that, right? It's got like a wrong label to it. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, and you can work through stuff while talking to yourself. A little bit like writing. If you write out all your feelings, you can talk to yourself in a mirror. And I always say to women who lack self-love to do that. Look in the mirror and find good bits about you. Not necessarily on how you look, but the good bits you love about yourself. Everybody has those. So even if it's just one, and then the next day or the next week you find 2 and 3, and then you'll be soon enough you'll be happy with yourself, and self-love will be there.
With the I am, I know that does work, but for people who haven't tried it and say they're struggling with something and they're saying it, but they don't believe it, how do they know? Is it going to affect their subconscious, or how do you make their subconscious believe in it? Is it just repeating?
Yeah, it will work no matter what, but it always works better if you really feel it in your heart as well. Yeah. So if you really want to be happy and really want to be healthy and really want that new job, or you really want to find that house or partner, yeah, then it will work quickly, let's say, because your energy will change, and then that will attract what you put out. Yeah. It's what you're giving out, you'll attract back. I know people sometimes want proof. Proof will come, but it's sometimes it's the awareness as well. If they get the proof but they're not aware, then it's like it never happened until or unless someone points it out. And some people then recognize it and they go like, "Oh my God, it actually happened." And so it's going then into the manifestation as well. And then if you do that more often, then you will see that you manifest things quicker.
Yeah, because some people don't understand about manifestations, and they think is thing that's not true, or like if they haven't experienced it before, or the way they've been brought up. I think because of all the stuff about the book The Secret, it's very basic, so people don't understand in detail of it, because they say stuff like you have to act like it's happened now, but people don't understand that when they mean that it's more the energy. If you are actually happy with your life now, things would just flow and come, rather than it's all about vibrations and energy, but people think that it actually has to like happen, like they actually see things. Yeah.
Well, a really good one is when you go to the shops and you ask for a car park, and ask upstairs, your spirit guides, your angels, your deities, ask for a car park where you want to go and park. So you go to the shopping center and you want to park in a certain section. Ask for a car park. And I can tell you, my husband did this because he's not into all of this. He's a skeptic. He's a real skeptic. So this is a few years ago now. He comes home because he's a bit more of a believer now. And he comes home and he goes like, "It worked. I asked for a car park, and as soon as I drove in, his car just drove out. So I could take the park." So little things like that, then they have to prove for people who need proof.
Yeah, and it's like practicing as well, because when you can achieve the smaller thing, you can be able to manifest a bigger thing. So beside from a car park, I've heard about free coffee that people manifest. What other little things that people can test and try?
Getting there on time. When you run late, and sometimes we all run late, and I always ask, please, can I get there with 5 minutes to spare? I always get there with 5 minutes to spare. I don't know how, it just works.
Do we have dimensions in a safe way as well? Because I've heard people say that when you ask for a thing, you have to be very careful, because if you don't, it might, even especially money, when people they have to pay bills at the end of the month and they really need that amount, and when they ask and they believe they're coming but they don't ask it in a safe way, it could come in an accident or something.
Oh, yeah. Well, when I drive, I always ask to protect my car and all the traffic around me, all the traffic, animals, people around me. And as you know, I did have an accident in 2014, but my angels were there, and I survived it with little damage, which you do know the story. So, and the ambulance was already there, things like that. So I was still protected, but it still needed to happen. It's always got a highest good, it always is. But if you feel like you want to add that as well, please do so for the highest good of everyone involved, because it always is. But yes, I am affluent. I am having the money all the money, to pay the bills. It really does work. It doesn't mean that we don't have to do the work anymore. It's not that it just falls into our lap, but you'll be more aware of opportunities that come your way as well. Because we all need to go through lessons, otherwise we're not learning.
With meditations, and the more I go deep into, there's so much more bigger things that you learn. And especially we were talking before the interview before, it's like you are able to be happy, but everything around you was still the same. But not just being happy as in like, everything you see that was there but you didn't see before.
Yes.
I mean, like, so yes, everything is still the same, but you somehow, it was there but you block it, you don't see the beauty of it, so you don't see the happiness of it. But now your mind, it's like a detective, you see little details of things more and you appreciate more.
Yeah, it's an awareness as well. And, it's an awareness of self too. And if you think of an onion, I'm sure you've heard that one before, but there's all these layers, and that's what we are made of. So you peel a layer and you think like, oh, I've got this now. And then there is another layer and another layer. And that's what you said. You just go deeper and deeper and deeper. And that's the spiritual learning.
It's a constant learning.
Never ends. No. And that's why it's nice that that you can connect with like-minded people and get support and be uplifted, because everybody has their bad days. And if I can knock on my people's door and go like, oh, I really feel da di da di da today, and then people go like, yeah, I can relate, and then you can work through it together, because we're not meant to do everything by ourselves. So the more happy thoughts and positive thoughts and sparkly thoughts are out there, the better it is for the world as well, for everybody, because everybody will get a little piece.
You were saying before about sending love to the world. So that's one thing that I've been doing a lot as well. In some of the meditations, they've asked us to send love, or they do a group meditation to sending love. And because when we send, we also receive, because a lot of people don't know. They just think that when you just meditate and you're just always asking for you. But you can send love to someone else, or someone in your family or a friend, or you can send love just in general to the world, or, the people at work.
Absolutely.
And they don't need to know about it. And it's just when you're sending, you're still receiving. So it's like when you're breaking for people, you're channeling, but when you're channeling, you don't drain your energy, you're actually receiving as well. So yeah.
That's right. It's not your energy. No, it's not your energy. Like with the Reiki, I always ask for permission to send. I wouldn't just go and send Reiki to whomever. But when I do send Reiki, I always include Mother Earth and all her inhabitants, and then it's always for the highest good, in accordance with their higher self. So whoever is open to receive will, and whoever isn't, well, they don't. But that's okay too. It is there. And I think people will then notice, like your energy as well, because I'm sure you hear that as well when I go to my job. People always say it's just happier when I'm there. It's just purely because like of the energy I might bring. I'm not always in a good space, and there was a time where I was terribly stressed and in a in a bad space, and people noticed that as well. if you're happy, they notice. If you have good vibes, they notice. But if you're not in a good space, they will notice as well. And I think that's wonderful that people now react with awareness, whereas before they probably wouldn't even thought about it.
Is that the same as sometime when you can meet someone or at work that they they can be talkative and they smile, but you can sense there's something not right, like you can tell that they sad or there's something going on with them. It's like the energy you can feel, and or someone's
Absolutely.
quiet, but then they got really good energy. You're just drawn to go and talk to them. You just feel safe around them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I usually ask people, if I get that feeling, I will ask them, "Are you okay?" And then they go like, "Yeah." And I said, and I will tell them like, "I don't think so, but it's okay. If you want to talk, I'm here." Because you can feel it. And I think people need to realize as well with when your sensitivities are growing and you feel energies more or see them or hear them, because everybody's different, that you can't bullshit, because you can't. So whatever you say, you can say no, 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 but you and I, we know it's not like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that's another thing into trusting. So you need to trust what you receive from that person as well.
So how old when you started like meditations or your Reiki? Did you?
Oh, well, Reiki, I started my Reiki level 1 I did in 2002. But when I was little, before I was 10, I saw spirits. I was really connected to spirits, but at the time I didn't really know what it all means. It was just all normal. Like I might say to my mum, "Oh, there was someone rattling at my window," but there was no one there.
Is that when you're awake or?
Yeah, well, I could describe the person, you see. So, and then what happened to me was my great grandmother, she passed, and I was really, really close to her. And when she passed, she was sitting on my bed with her hair open, and that's what I always wanted to see because she always had it up in a bun. And that really freaked me out. I was about 7, and that really freaked me out. So to this day, I still have a block in the mediumship area, as in seeing spirits. I can receive them in my inner eye, but seeing them as out there, no. Yeah.
So when you say inner eye, does that mean you can sense it, or you can or when you?
When you see like a photo, like you can describe the passed on person, but you kind of see it in your head instead of out there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it's not something I want to work on. That's where I have my doubts and my blocks, and that's why I understand people who go like, "Oh, but I can't do it. I don't know how to do it." My block would be in mediumship, totally. Mm-hmm. So I get that, yeah. And then it's either you want to practice or you don't.
Do you want to open that area? Or?
I do and I don't, because as you know, I work in a hospital and I feel energies enough as it is. I don't want to see them wandering the hallways because I now see out of the corner of my eyes, like there's someone there. And then when you look, there is no one. So I don't know if I want to open up, if I want to open that up more. No, probably no. Not
maybe when you retire or when you don't work at the hospital.
Maybe.
Yeah, because or else it's too much in the hospital right now that you're seeing that. Yeah, I think that might be the reason why that you're not you can't see it, because a part of you don't want to. So when
no, I sense enough, like I I sense them, and if you would see everybody wandering the hallways as well, I think I could not cope with that. Couldn't do my job, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's then it makes you
You know,
in the decline.
yeah. But it's an individual thing because not everybody wants to do the same thing, or maybe they don't have, the same strengths and weaknesses, and that's when numerology comes back in. And numbers are safe, they're safe and they don't lie. And with every numerology reading with me, you will get psychic insights as well. So it's not just, this number means this and that number means that. It's an individual reading which is relevant to what's going on with you or what you need to know.
Because you've started your psychic and also your meditations quite young age, and you experience all this, would you think like things would have been a lot different if you didn't go down this journey? And you know how like sometime in your life things happen really big, a major thing, do you think you still cope similar, or you think it would have been like really hard? Because what I'm trying to say is like there's a lot of people who wanting to do meditations but they're not starting now, like they have no drama in their lives. So I always say when you don't have any drama is the best time to do it. And if you have a tool, if you don't continue, when something major happens, it's easy for you to switch back or try it again rather than wait until something dramatic happen, and then they feel hopeless and then they want to try, then it's a lot harder then. So, with people who have experienced, meditations and mindfulness or any kind of spiritual stuff, when things happen in their life, it's easier. They still be sad. You still need time to do all that. But the pickup time is a lot quicker.
Yeah. What happened with me was I was in tune and everything, and then I stopped because life happens. You become a teenager and you have other stuff in your head, and it just went away. And then I kind of hit a wall in my mid-30s, and I find that a lot, that women just hit a wall between 35 and 45 maybe, that they're just questioning everything and just are lost. So then that's when I reconnected with Reiki. Like I told you, I just woke up one morning and it just felt like I needed to do this. Just weird, really weird. And then I just picked a random person, which normally I wouldn't do. And my husband always said that was the best thing I could have done and did, because it truly changed not who I am, because you're always who you are, but how I look at things and how I react, right? And a different perspective and outlook. So I'm probably more at peace, right? And it really doesn't matter when you start. It needs to feel right. If it doesn't feel right and you just do it because it's in, or it's the flavor of the month, then there is no point. I personally think there is no point. You need to want to do it and feel it, that the time is right. But yes, absolutely. People around you will notice. They will. Look at you, you've come through so much. And
yeah, because I find that for me, if I didn't have that background and all the health things happen, I think I would have fallen apart a lot quicker. Something that I can already started, so it's easier for me to continue. Yeah, even if your belief wasn't strong, you still have, like it's like a basic, family, and then you can continue. And
the thing is, it's inbuilt in all of us. All of us are healers. We are all psychics. We are all mediums. That's what we are born with. We have all these skills, amongst other skills. And then some of us that will reconnect and do it and work it. whereas others will go and see someone. They might join your meditation group, or they might come for a reading or a healing, but they're not interested in doing it themselves.
Mm.
So that in a way will keep the balance as well. But at any stage, if they want to reconnect, it'll come to the surface when the time is right. That's about timing.
Yeah. And I found everyone's journey, it's very different. Even if you study from the same teacher or, read the same book, the way that you think is completely different. That's why it's good to have different view of people with it. And
even when I teach, so I tune Reiki or Numerology, I'll teach all of it, but it's always different. I do have a basic manual, but then what comes out in the lessons, it's very individual. It's just what the people need at the time. So it's not, one fits all, not at all. It's not like that. And you will find that with all the modalities, kinesiology, body talk. Those are basic. And then, wherever it takes you, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, because I find like there's even my parents and a lot of people who hasn't learned much about the stuff that we're doing, don't understand like the part, they don't understand when we say we are energy, or they know about the guts feeling and all that because they feel it as well, but they don't understand that they think that there's certain people, a psychic like yourself, is because you're gifted, you're born like that, but they don't realize that there's a lot in us that we can train ourselves. We might not be like you, be able to read other people, but we can help ourselves, we can figure out ourselves. And I find like with my journey, even though I get healings from other people like you, I need to work on myself so that the health doesn't come back. So it's more, for me, it's more like how would I be able to maintain it for a long time. I don't want to have to be going to the doctors, going to you, like all the time to, every time it happened again and then let it happen and then go back again. It's like a Band-Aid. That's what I think. I find that it's like, a Band-Aid. I actually need to work on it to heal myself from within. And
Very good point. I just had this discussion with someone this morning because they sent me a message and said, "Can you heal me?" No, I can't. I can channel the energy and I can send you healing, but you have to do the work. I can't. If I could, I would, but I can't. Yeah, that's exactly right. You have to still work on yourself, and you have to do the work. Yeah, but this is helping.
Yeah, there might be a blockage that they have that you guys can be able, like balancing their chakra or something like that, so that helps them, and then they be able to flow easier, or be able, because they're really stressed, the Reiki or any kind of healing might help them to ground them, and then they be able to start. But at the end of the day, people need to know that they need to do the meditations, they need to do any kind of things, like hobbies that helps them to be able to work in the mind. Like some people told me they do surfing because they have to be focused, or else, or motorbike, stuff like that. You need to do things beside from just going to work and come home.
And or go and see your practitioners, but you need to do the work as well. That's
combined with it.
Yes, but you need to, get your mindset right with meditation or affirmation, and you need to want to help yourself as well. If you don't want to help yourself and just think, other people will do it for you, then you haven't learned anything. So,
I find like with meditations and you do affirmation, it go really well together. But if people are only doing affirmations but not being mindful, that's when they feel like, okay, they've been saying it all the time, but it doesn't work. Whereas if
you need to feel it.
You need to feel it.
Yeah, you need to want it, and not just Yeah, like I said, not just participate because everybody is doing it, then it's not for the right reasons.
You just have to find a teaching that suits you at the present time.
Yes, that's right. I mean, it may be Reiki, it may be kinesiology, it may be crystals, it may be numerology or cards or, whatever you feel. And then the thing is, don't feel that you're not good enough because you are, because we are all born with with the tools within us, and it's just a matter of tapping back in and practicing. It's like doing an apprenticeship, right? You start your apprenticeship, you don't know anything, but yeah, and then you work it and you practice and you do it.
I know
And
you've used
yeah,
crystal sometime in your healing as well. So for
I
people who
do.
don't know much about crystal, they think it's a rock, it's pretty. Can you explain a little
It
bit?
is. Every crystal holds their own energy as well, and they will, if you use it with some on its own or with another modality, it will amplify the energy. So when I go to my job, if I think of it, I usually have a crystal in my pocket, and that can vary. It can be an amethyst, a clear quartz, a tiger's eye, whatever I feel on the day. And you can look them up on the internet and what they all mean. But if you go to a crystal store and want to buy a crystal, I always say go in there and see what jumps out at you, because that's the crystal you need. It's no use in going in there, I want to go and buy A, B, C because it said that worked for her. Yeah, they worked for it because uh, that was what you needed at the time. But the person who goes into the shop or at the market saying maybe need other crystals. So always pick the one which jumps out and then read up on it what it means. And usually, if you don't need them anymore, they just go missing, or you lose them, or they just go back to Mother Earth. But they're amazing amplifiers as well when you do the healing. Yeah.
So does it matter too much, like if you're wearing it, if it's a raw one or a polished one? Because I find like some people say raw one's more but energy, but then the polished one doesn't hurt you. You know how like the raw one is quite sharp, some of them, yeah.
Yeah, no. You can charge them as well. If you are a Reiki practitioner, or you can Reiki them to charge them, or everybody knows about the full moon, so you can put them into the full moonlight to charge, or you can put them into Mother Earth, like if you have pot plants. You can actually, I have a couple of pot plants around the house, and all my pot plants have crystals in there, and they just stay there. There is you can sage them if you have a amethyst cluster, then you can put them on there because that's a good cleanser and recharge you in itself. But yeah, crystals, people are just drawn to them not just only because they're pretty, but maybe because
the energy.
they need that energy. And I find when you wear bracelets or and if you don't need them anymore, it will break.
And there's one thing I want to ask you about grounding. There's a lot people talks about grounding in the meditation world. So with grounding, I have learned a lot from you in the past about visualizations, but for someone who just the basic, or they want to know about grounding, what's a very basic one that they can do if they close their eyes and imagine that to get themselves grounded? If they can't go out on the grass, they don't live in an apartment, they don't have grass and go around the garden, what can they do?
Well, the easy thing is if you just visualize roots, like the roots that the trees have growing out of your soles of the feet. And it doesn't matter in which level of the apartment you live in, that you just get the roots and just connect them to Mother Earth. So you're grounded, because it's important to be grounded because we have to do the job on this planet, and it's a dense planet. It's nice to be up there with the fairies and spirits and yeah, but we still need to be here and do the work here. So I find that's probably the easiest, just to visualize roots grow out of the soles of your feet into Mother Earth to be anchored. Or the color red. The color red is a really grounding color as well. So, you know, if you want to wear red socks or red shoes or something red on your body, that will help, or a red crystal, that will help to ground you as well. Make it easy, you know, don't make it hard.
So is grounding better to do if people remember when they wake up in the morning or more at night time?
I think you can do it more during the day as well. You know, if you feel a little bit unhinged, or what little kids do, you know, when they have a tantrum, they just stamp their feet. Yeah, that's grounding. That's a ground, you know, like they're really angry and when they start stamping their feet, that will ground them.
Yeah, that's why we don't tell them to stop now when they do that, because I know it calms them down. Yeah, so there's certain things we learn that helps them. Yeah.
Yes. So we can do that as well. And maybe, you know, like even as an adult, or, you know, the teachers used to do this when they got angry, they were just stamping with one foot. Yeah? Just go like, and in a way, that's a grounding in itself. But yeah, you know, you can get your chakras ready in the morning doing a little dance. If you dance, and sing, you know, sing and dance. That will get your chakras going for the day.
Yep. Yeah.
In
so
front of the mirror.
Yeah. So how would someone know if they're not grounded? What sort of sign do you think people can be aware of and look for?
You might be a bit, you know, like imbalanced or just feeling yucky. You might have a bit of a spacey headaches, you know. Or you just, I think, you know, people just go like, I don't feel very grounded today.
Yeah, like we sort of know, but it's hard to explain it. So then when people ask me, you know, it's like when you go out in the garden or you wear barefoot, you feel so much, you know, good afterward.
Yeah.
But
nothing works, you know, like nothing goes well.
Yep. Yeah.
Whatever you touch, it's just. If you can get the headspace in order in the morning, maybe you even get up and you go like, I am having the best day today. Look yourself in the eyes in the mirror, then you've done that as well.
And with when people come and balancing the chakra with you through the Reiki, can you explain, we learn about that when we do Reiki with you as well, when you balance lines, why do people need to balance their chakra? Because some people don't even know we have chakra.
We work with the 7 major chakras, which, you know, the colors of the rainbows. We have a lot of other little chakras as well, but that's the main ones we work with. And they're like wheels, they're turning. If one doesn't turn as well, let's say you throat chakra, you're holding a lot in, you're not speaking your truth, you're not speaking up, you're holding back. Then that wheel starts to turn, you know, slowly. It might get dirty a little bit, and then you end up with a sore throat or thyroid problems. It will then manifest in the body eventually. So to have a free flow, the heart space that connects the upper chakras and the lower chakras. So if you imagine if your heart is out, you'll have high blood pressure, you know, you probably have headaches, you have lower body aches. It's because the energy can't flow. The heart connects the upper level with the lower level. So if that's out, then, you know, you're going to have the heart attacks and the strokes and all of that. So it's like I said, it's like maintaining your car. You put your body in for a service, and you can do that yourself by just visualizing the colors. And if you hop online, it will tell you what color corresponds to which chakra. Makes you feel more calm and at ease and relaxed and harmonized. It just harmonizes and balances the mind, the body, and the soul. That's what it does. And if you go see a practitioner, go and see your practitioner on a regular basis, not just once, and then you feel wonderful. And then after 2 months, you're at the same, you're the same like you were. So to maintain it, and then you'll be able to feel it and do it yourself. But you can think of, let's say, for your lower chakras, which is the red and the orange, you can visualize a fruit. For your base chakra, you can visualize a red apple or a strawberry, or for the color red, or an orange for your orange one, or the sun for your, make it easy, don't make it hard. Reiki balances automatically, when you do a Reiki healing or meditation, it will balance your chakras.
When my first experience with you, before I study, I used to have healing with you. And when you go to the feet, I could feel, like you said, some people can feel heat, some don't, but I could feel a lot. So how would you explain that to people when they have Reiki, the heat? Is that channeling through you and out?
Yes, and that would be even though I say Reiki will go wherever it's needed, but we still touch on the chakra points and in between. And when it's really intense, then it's the area you needed it most. So I might need to clear the energy out of it and put, like the Reiki energy in it. We call it psychic surgery. So in the end, I'll go in there and take all the rubble or goo or whatever in that area out. And then I'll put healing light, whatever color comes through, back into that area. But Reiki can be, it's an individual thing as well. Some people feel the heat, some feel like a tickle, or it's the energy. That's why you can heal in the aura as well. You can heal laptops, you can heal your car, you can balance all of that around you as well, charging batteries.
Yeah, because I noticed when I did Reiki with you, we did a lot of visualizations about cleansing and the water. And then when I did a lot of the meditation, some of the guided one day talks about that as well. So when we do like visualizations, is that the subconscious mind don't know the difference, or how, like, can you explain? Because
Yes.
when you want to cleanse yourself in the shower, or you're just sitting there and pretending it's raining, or visualization, how does that work with because people are very curious, the skeptic, they really want to understand a little bit.
It will work on a subconscious level, like you have a shower and you had a really bad day, so you just go like, just wash all the stuff away. And when I visualize that, I might see it as rubble, or like I have a vision with it. So you should just go with that. So for the skeptics, hop in the shower, visualize all that bad day just washing down the drain, it's all gone, and then see how you feel. The thing is to just allow it to happen and not wait for something to happen. Do you know what I mean? Because it's an energetic thing, it's not a physical thing, but physically you will feel better. That's how I see it anyways. I mean, no means I'm an expert on all of this, but that's just my experience and how I work it for myself.
A lot of the stuff I've learned, I've tested on my kids, and because they're young, their subconscious, it works quicker. That the mirror one that you were talking about before, or the affirmations, and sometimes I just leave it in the background, and they they're like, oh, I don't want to listen to it, but they actually hear it because they remember everything it's in there. So
My kids, I'll just tell you this one. My children are a little bit older now, and our oldest one, they're just about to have a baby, so I'm going to be a grandma. So they're going to paint. They're going to paint the baby's room, and so this Friday, I'm going to go over to their place, and I'm going to put the Reiki signs on the wall before they paint over it. I've done the same in this house as well. Before the builders painted, I said, I need to put the Reiki signs on the wall. And it just protects and seals and harmonizes the house, you know? So for people, the Reiki signs, they're just scribbles. But yesterday, my son, on Sunday, he rang and he said, Mum, are you still coming over? Are you doing the ceiling as well? Or can I start painting the ceiling? So even though the kids, my family, my whole family, they're skeptics. But on a subconscious level, they know all this stuff and they believe in it as well. So it's interesting. Like my younger one, when he comes over, he goes and plays with the cards, you know, when he thinks I'm not noticing. So yeah, absolutely. It works on the subconscious level. And then, you know, if you want to take it further, then you become more aware and you work with it. Yeah, sometimes the skeptics, I don't know how much more proof they want. To, you know, like you can take it. And I must say, look, that's what I know. That's what I can tell you. That's my experience. And I really don't care if you believe it or not, because it's got, you know, like what you do has got nothing to do with me.
the more deeper I go into this area, it's like I always think, oh yeah, that's all I know, and then that there might be other people, but I don't realize there's so much more. Like, and I keep meeting more groups, and I'm keeping, and then it's like we're all still just beginner, and then there's still more of this and that, and it's like it's an ongoing journey, and there's so many fascinating things and people that you come across in their story. It's like wow, you know, like yeah, it's very
It is, and you know, like the stuff will fall once you consciously in it as well. Stuff will fall into your lap as well, which you go like, oh, I need to read up on that, and oh, that's interesting. Like personally, I like to read up on the planets. I find it fascinating, but it's too much work and it's hard. So I follow people who do that, and it always matches with, you know, the number energy, the numerology, or what's going on. And I find that fascinating as well, because it gives you an insight on where you are at the moment. And it's kind of like, how do you say it, a confirmation as well from a third party. I like reading up on that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very interesting journey. Once you open the door, it's like everything I used to read, I understand on a different level than now. Once you're able to, like I said, be able to be happy, seeing just basic thing like a flower and things around you. All the books that I used to read, I read it back and it just get to me a lot easier, and I understand it. I remember it a lot quicker as well, and
it's a different understanding. You might see things which you haven't seen the first time round.
Same as when you buy a car or notice you want to buy a car, then you see that car on the street more than what you have seen in the past, even if it's a rare car.
Yeah, and that's where you connect it with your heart chakra, and that's what you really want. So you can manifest your stuff, you know? You truly can if it's coming from the heart, you know? And people go, oh, I want to manifest gold lotto. Yeah, me too. But on the other hand, have a look. Have you got everything you need and more? No, maybe the universe provides for you in a different way.
Is there anything you want to share, or tips or anything? How to be able to be happy and, you know, feel joy, because that's the main thing that people want. You know, if you have money but you're not happy, then that's no good.
Life is up and down, yeah, because we're here to have a spiritual growth experiences, and experiences spiritual growth. I always say it's hard because you need something. If it would be easy, then we wouldn't learn anything. So stay with it, and if you need help, please reach out. With whatever help there's lots of help available out there. So probably my best tip is, if you need help, reach out to a friend, to a family member, to a professional. Ask for help, definitely. We're not in this alone. We're here all together, and on a conscious level, we're all connected and interconnected. So, yeah, definitely ask for help. There's no shame in it whatsoever. If you want to clear something, let's say, go back to my accident. I went through this intersection, and I had to ride away, and someone hit me from the side, quite hard. I then had kinesiology done to get that rid, to eliminate that on my brain. But now, when it's raining, or like the lights don't work, or traffic lights don't work, I start to feel a little bit anxious, because when I had the accident, traffic lights didn't work. Then I start to go, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I thank you, I love you, because I don't want to. It is, I'm sorry to myself that I put myself into that position. Yeah? Please forgive me, I forgive myself that I put myself into that position. So please forgive me, I thank you, I thank myself that I could experience this and learn from it. And I love myself. I love you. I love myself. And then I'll just say that over and over in my head, which will eliminate that anxiety or fear. And the story goes, it's from a Hawaiian healer, and we actually cleared a whole psychiatry institution, which there were really heavy cases, like in chains and everything. Mm-hmm. He did not even see these people. He didn't go there, or really went there, maybe once or twice. But he had their files, and all he did was saying those 4, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I thank you, I love you. And he could clear that whole institution. No, it took a few years, but he was able to clear that negative energy. So whenever you're in a pickle, or you feel uneasy, or you want to clear, maybe you need to cut the cords to someone or something, you can say these words as well, because they're all related back to yourself. But if you Google it, Ho'oponopono, it will come up, and it will give you a little bit. There's a book, Zero Limits, which I've read, and for me it was an amazing, eye-opening book. And I do use the Ho'oponopono in my head as well when I do hands-on healings for people to clear the blocks away. Yeah, just all the tools, and then you just make them your own. Yeah,
it's good to know different tools, because in certain time it's not always easy to meditate, so then you have to have different tools that you try that works at different times.
And you can say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I thank you, I love you, over and over, and that's like a meditation as well. Yeah. Whatever is out there. And I find as well, whatever you need at a particular time, it will show up in your life. It will. What they say, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Once people starting to open that door, they will be able to find peace, but also be able to find, like the thing that the purpose of what they call, what they enjoy, and the purpose of life. The purpose could be anything, but it doesn't always have to be helping other people, but, like they'd be able to be happy at the thing that they're doing daily. And it's not just going to work, but I realize that everything I do, like for me to, you know, like be happy and heal, everything I do has to be happy. So even the, you know, the food I eat, the cooking, the things I do, the, you know, like everything throughout the day. So it's not like meditations. The meditation's good, but then after I meditate is what I do the whole day. That's affecting me, the energy. Yeah. Because I could sit in the meditation, then afterward I could be sad at doing this, then I won't be able to heal. Yeah. It
No,
took me a
no,
while to
that's right.
understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why you have to put in the work yourself
Mm.
and all the other things, you know, there's tools. And I think that's why writing is so powerful as well.
Mm.
Right? It's a powerful tool.
Thank you so much for the interview today, Toni.
Thank you for having me, Viv. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. You're an amazing, amazing. So yeah,
Thank you.
really blessed to have met you.
You too.